How's that coffee, Dad?
Not bad. Why?
You're live.
Oh, my life. Good to the last drop. That's an old commercial. Patrick wouldn't know what that was. But welcome to another question and answer. Patrick tells me we're live. Thank goodness we weren't doing anything, with our fingers or anything, right, Patrick? I never do that anyhow. But anyhow, thanks for joining us. We got a lot to cover. And I really do want to start out with talking about the in-house classes a little bit. And we're into, we ran a 8-week class that finished up 4 weeks ago, and then in between another 8-week class, we ran 2 4-week classes, and they've been interesting. They've been fun.
Did we already start the spring semester? No, next week.
It's next week. Yeah, but we've been busy. Today was supposed to be a holiday, and I'm just getting back from the other shop to here. It was a busy day with doing loose ends and everything. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the 2 classes that we're running. I won't mention names, but I will mention we have 3 wing chairs at the shop that are in the front window, right, Patrick?
Yep.
And I had somebody stop in today, and they were admiring my work, but I had to tell them that they're not my work; it's my students' work. And I have to say that these 3 chairs that are in the window, Patrick, you might not be able to tell the difference. That's how good these people have been taking the class. One is Jimmy's, by the way.
Wow.
He's finishing. His girlfriend took the class, and he's finishing her project up. But the 3 of them in the window really look nice. We have that embroidered fabric. I should have taken a picture, you guys. I'm sorry. But the man, I was officially closed today, and I was in the back, and I saw a man standing there. So I went out. I said, "Hey, can I help you?" He said, "No, I was just admiring the great work that you did." And so then besides those 3 that are in the window, we have a woman who's been taking my class for a long time. And she signed up again, by the way, Patrick, for another 8-week class.
For the next one?
Yep. Okay. She loves upholstery. She's a very talented girl. I mean, they're so talented that when they do their hand, I teach them how to hand stitch, my people, and they do too good of a job. And I tell people, if you're going to be hand stitch and you want to make a mistake once in a while, you don't want to be perfect. You want people to know that you hand stitched. It's not a problem, but it's funny. My students can't do that. They have to do a really good job, but they, perfect. It almost looks like you closed it with the metal, ply grip or something. But so she's doing this contrasting wing chair with. It's a floral and it's a solid in various parts of the chair, and I don't usually like that mix, but in this case it really looks good. I have to say she is doing such a good job. She's doing it for her daughter, and I think that's nice. And then I got another woman. She's doing a wicker chair. I think I mentioned this. It had a loose a cushion on the back, a small knife edge cushion on the back. And and this was an antique wicker chair. If you split an antique wicker chair in half, or maybe not split it in half, but draw a piece of tape, put a piece of tape halfway on the chair, you're gonna see. In this case, was no different. These chairs actually list. They're like an old ship. They list one way, and they're like this, and so we struggled with her to get her to think that. She couldn't really make it. The back cushion came to points on the sides. One was really pointed and one's more rounded. So what we had to do is split the difference. I'm going to get to the point about describing what's going on in these classes in a minute. And then I have a girl. Now this is interesting, you guys. I have a student who has a Herman Miller. I call it machine age. I think just heavy metal and leather chair that's really interesting, and she couldn't figure out how to take the arms off, and she struggled with it, and she's really talented. She's a theater person. She does theater setup, so she's really talented. Nice gal. And so this chair is really interesting. All these pieces that you see before me are each sections of the office chair. It's pretty elaborate, and it had upholstered arms. But the upholstered arms, she didn't know, but they sat. I knew there was a wood piece in there, and it's a boxing. But the top there's a padding, and it's almost like a box seat. You guys, it has welting at the top. I thought no welting on the bottom. But, she couldn't figure out. There were nothing showing on the bottom. Okay, so there's a metal piece here and no screws. The metal pieces come down, but there's no screws anywhere. That's the beauty. That's the engineering feat that Herman Miller did. But she couldn't figure out how it came apart. I had an inkling how it came apart, so I went and I knew that probably it was a keyhole in the bottom, a keyhole designed like so, with the bolt sticking up just a little bit above this piece here, and they put this piece in here you almost see the bolt right there. I don't have the bolts with me, but so what you had to do is knock it forward like this, and that's what I did. I think I took my fist and I just went bang, bang, and it came right out. And she was so impressed, she started doing a dance pattern. And she was shouting my name. She got so excited she forgot my name. She was shouting, Frank, 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 Frank. She was so excited that I did that, right? Well, it really did. It was impressive, I'd have to say. But you had to know, I must have done one of these before at some point. I don't remember. Or I had something else similar to this. But isn't that interesting, you guys? I just thought you might like that. So that's one project. Another project.
Randy says, your greatest accomplishment as a teacher is when your student becomes better than you.
That's exactly right. And I have to say, sometimes I'm envious of my students because they have the time. A lot of people have the time to do it. They're in a situation, they might be settled in their work and they have that squared away and they have a night or two free, and then they take, some people take their projects home and do homework. They've got home shops set up, which I always encourage. But Randy is right. I mean, when that person walking down the street stopped and said, wow, this guy does good work, he couldn't believe that there were 3 students' projects in the window. So thank you. Yeah, I think, Randy, that's true. So the other person who's taken this class, she's doing the beautiful embroidered fabric wing chair that she's doing a really good job on. She's going to be very, very happy when that's done. So that's one class. That's my Thursday night class. And in my Tuesday night class, I have a very interesting young lady who's got an arts and crafts piece of furniture. We don't see too many. I bet Randy sees more arts and crafts where he is, Patrick, than we do in the East Coast, on the East Coast. But this is definitely arts and crafts. It looks like a small, you might confuse it with an Eastlake, but it definitely is arts and crafts. Usually arts and crafts have those little decorative pieces of wood that they add on where they don't do much to hold them in place. Usually they're placed in a nail. Again, she's doing a terrific job and a nice slow job, and she's got these little intricate cuts on this, really micro cuts on this because it's such a dainty piece of furniture. And when we were cutting it actually came down to like a quarter of an inch, not even a quarter, like a 16th of an inch before the puckering went away on the seat. It's a very low profiled seat. But I wish I had it here to show you, but I just wanted to go. And then I have Jimmy in that class. He's finishing up his girlfriend's chair. And he's doing a good job. And then I have a doctor. This doctor is doing a small ottoman, Patrick, with the panel. He actually finished it. Wow. So he's doing his no piping. It's modern looking. It's a pullover. It's a pullover with a border going all the way around it, and he's very happy. And then I have a therapist. She's doing a 2 wing chair. She's doing 1 wing chair with me, and she's going to be almost finished after 12 classes with 1 wing chair. And then she's going to finish. She's been doing the other one at home. She's really motivated and really good. And then I have a moving guy, a guy that is a mover that does work that's learning how to take things apart, and he's been interesting too. We've been talking about moving furniture in and out of small spaces and things like that, and we've had some good discussions. So all of this leads into, we've not had time to do our YouTube channel. We've been neglecting that. We keep saying we're going to do it, and we never do. But I was just saying to Patrick, I think we're missing a golden opportunity. We should be filming if people give us permission. I mean, that's always a problem. But if we can get a class full of people who give permission for us to follow them along on an 8-week class, I think it would be very popular, Patrick. because the banter that goes back and forth, is kind of interesting. And we are Upholstery on Broadway, so we could kind of we have a lot of fun. We have music playing that's like Broadway music in the background. It's an AM station.
Really?
No, right? No, I'm serious. I mean, we could make it into a little bit of a show, Patrick. Why not? I mean, it's serious, but it wouldn't be like. It would be half show, half learning because.
Rocco says you have to change the charge more for the therapist. She's engaging in upholstery therapy.
Yeah, and I should charge doctor rates to the other guy, right?
Yeah.
They know how much to get paid. The thing about Boston, you guys, is as you can well imagine, in Boston we get a lot of people from the hospitals, nurses, doctors, therapists. And it makes for some interesting classes. I actually brings to mind, I had a plastic surgeon in one of my classes, and he was getting really frustrated because the fabric wasn't cooperating. He really got upset. I said, "What's wrong, doctor?" And he says, "Skin is a lot easier." Skin. He said, I wanted to know why that was. He said, "You can stretch it any direction." He said, "Fabric, you can all, so that was funny. Okay, so should we get to the YouTube, Patrick, first?
Yeah, there's only one. There's a lot of Facebook stuff.
But you've got a few of these.
Thanks, guys, for submitting those.
Yeah, I think, tell me something. You did something without me knowing. I mean, Patrick, he's the IT guy. What is this Broadway chat now? Is that new?
No.
That's not
What are
new?
you talking about?
It's you better look at that. It's a chat group. I saw that come up. I thought it was something different.
Somebody might have made it. I don't know.
You better take a look at
forum?
it. Yeah.
What was it about?
I don't know. Maybe it's the same. Maybe we're talking
I
the
don't
same
think,
thing.
Take
a look
I didn't
at it.
notice anything.
Randy says, "Happy Easter, every bunny." That's funny, bunny. And because Patrick said Happy Easter. By the way, thanks for bearing with us. We've been not here for what? This is 1 week,
one
right?
week.
Oh, okay. Klondike Kate, I wonder if she's in Alaska. We're talking about the womb chair. Oh, this is a bad memory, you guys, this womb chair. She says, "I would like to see a demonstration of how you put the foam on." Well, that's a loaded question on a womb chair. I mean, they used to pre-fit it with forms. They had forms that they poured, the foam into, and they made a perfect cast, and then they put it over the chair. And with glue. Now, I've been hearing a lot of my customers, and thank goodness I don't use a lot of glues, because I can honestly say to people that I don't use glues most of the time. I'm hearing that a lot of people don't like anything that's got glue in it, Patrick. That's so I've been paying attention to that. But those womb chairs are loaded with glue in the beginning. But here's the problem that even Knoll is the maker of womb chairs today, has with the style, same chair, same wooden mold, but the difference is the foam. It's foam, not the poured latex. I think that's what it was, or poured rubber, whatever they used. But I could tell the difference just like that between if you had a brand new vintage unblemished womb chair and next to it a brand new womb chair. I could tell instantly the newer one looks a little ballooned. See, this is the problem with the foam. Even if you're using a 1/4-inch foam, and which you should, you need to use a 1/4-inch foam. And even that, it just looks a little bit ballooned, and that's kind of a problem with it. You really have to be low piled, because to get around those arms, it really has to be low. But the difference between the foam too and the latex is that it's not as hard. It gives away a little bit, and that means more wrinkling or more struggling with getting that fabric on. So it's a problem. It is a problem. But they look great. I think most people wouldn't be able to tell the difference, honestly. But if that womb chair was not, we didn't repad that womb chair, but it would be a 1/2 inch foam, and you try to get it all in one piece, which you can if you really use a better grade foam. Use the mid-ultra foam, and that stretches better. It doesn't tear. The lower grade 1/4 inch will tear on you, and that's a problem if it tears. and you really would prefer not to put any batting over that, even Dacron. I wouldn't do it. And then that brings up another problem with people who are sensitive to chemicals, because the solution to pulling fabric over just foam, not in other words, it's a very rough surface, is silicone spray. But a lot of people like the glue. I don't think they would like the silicone either, Patrick. So I really do respect. I just did a chair, a club chair, where it was totally organic material, and I really respect that. And part of respecting that is to make sure you don't use any glues or silicones or any type of sprays at all. Even the spring mist, I wouldn't use on it. So just to try to keep, if you're going to say to somebody that you're going to do all organic, you really do have to follow that. I mean, I love the AAA cotton that we use. That was actually a seller for that job, and I don't have any here, but the AAA cotton is a wonderful material. Any questions or comments so far? I don't think there's anything.
Was it Randy said, I forgot, it was Marathon Monday.
Oh, yeah. 10 years ago was a very bad anniversary in Boston. And they've been talking a little bit about that, too.
I heard today was a good one, so that's good.
Yeah.
Malcolm has a few points here. It made sense about the music in the background. I have to watch out if we had music in the background of the class, what we were playing, if it was copyrighted. So that's a good point by Malcolm, yeah.
Every one of those songs, I can guarantee you, is copyrighted.
We'll just use basic Broadway music.
Every one of those things.
Royalty-free.
That's a good point, Malcolm, because this radio station that I listen to plays 100 years of music. They seem to appeal to all tastes, and they even have Beatles, Patrick, on that radio station. You know that's copyrighted.
He also says there's a Dutch upholstery company that has a video on womb chairs. They use spray glue.
If you're going to promote something called a womb chair, to me that's a very natural-looking chair and all that. It's a problem with a lot of people don't like that spray glue. Yeah, I know, Malcolm. It's the only way you can do it. So when I have a conversation with the customer, I say, would you rather if I don't use any synthetic material? Because let's face it, you guys, that it's your glues and your silicones and your spring mists and your chemicals sometimes that makes for a little bit of a better job. It's like a tweaking, right? So I'd say to a customer, well, would you accept a job that is not, because we can't use these materials, and the reason we do use the materials is because it tweaks it just a little bit better. And then ask them, would you mind if we didn't use it, that you have a pucker here or a wrinkle here? And I think most people would probably, because people feel strongly about this, Patrick. I think most people would say, no, do what you have to do without the chemicals. And then we got somebody from Skullhead Water. I don't know what that means. And this is the deconstruction of a dining room chair. I have a similar chair, but it's a little fancier. It's got a lot of hand carving, which I know is hand carving because it's not perfectly symmetrical. We're just talking about that wicker chair. It's a similar back like this, where the fabric shows through the back. I need to thank you to the French who came up with that. It's beautiful, isn't it? But these are a problem, you guys. When you start getting into the second or third time that those chairs, they're recessed backs, if you know what I mean. There's wood showing a recessed back, and the fabric just kind of melts into wood. I find that when fabric looks like that, it's a better looking piece of furniture. But you get into the second or third time, and they're only giving you, some of them only give you a quarter of an inch in which to work. It starts to get to be a problem. And then let me finish here. I need to restore the wood, so I figured I need to take it off the back fabric so I can refinish the wood. I was hoping to reuse the fabric. Is there any way to remove it without destroying it? Oh my goodness, good luck with that. Because, well, I guess it depends on how it went on. It's going to be difficult either way, but if they put that outside back on, and then they folded it over, which they should do, that gives you a little bit more strength. You might have a chance, but you have double the amount of staples in there because they stapled it first and then folded it over. But it's going to give you more to work with. But if they just stapled it on and trimmed it, you've got a problem, especially if it's a stretchy fabric. As soon as you take a staple out of it, it stretches and you're in trouble. That's a hard one. You won't know until you get in there and see how they finished it, and the type of fabric. It's dependent on the type of fabric. So that's going to be a challenge. I'd like to hear back from you to see how you did on that. Tib, the Upholstery Show Live. Just watched the live broadcast. Thank you so much for answering my question. This is what I started with in the 1860s English Victorian I posted and emailed you about a few weeks ago. Yes, sir, I use red stripe webbing. Now, this was the person that said that the webbing loosened up on them. And this is interesting. It's kind of like that show Car Talk, Patrick, where people would call in with their problems and the guys used to try to, the mechanics, click and clack. And that's what they, I hope I can say that. Used to answer the questions, right? FedEx, that was a little joke she had. Ha ha to myself. I went with your instruction you made in a previous video. I do not have any curves to attend with. I did leave some extra length in the end, so the day after I posted my question, I used a pair of pliers to grab it to restretch the webbing using staples. It has stayed perfectly tight since. So I think I was using, I think it was the tack, using the tacks that was the issue. So what we realize is that years ago, this webbing, the red webbing, which is the better webbing, jute webbing, was better years ago, like everything else, really. And then even the good red webbing today is not like it used to be years ago. So she used all tacks, and she did all the stretching, the right way. And somebody came in the shop the other day complaining about the same thing, Patrick.
Oh, Malcolm's going to get some good ones today.
Yeah?
It says click and clack. You guys are staple and tack.
Who's staple and who tack, Jimmy?
Yeah, I think Jimmy's staple.
I like to be... So that we solved the problem there because staples have a bridge and the tack only has a small head, right? So it works. The staples work better with the newer webbing than the tacks do. And Janine's been with us right from the very beginning, right, Patrick?
Yeah.
The Upholstery Show Live, and thank you, Janine. I used the quote. She says this is interesting. So Michaela will come up here in a little while with quotes, and then people like that. Janine likes the quote section of the show. She says, I use the quote segments as a fabric measure guide plus idea of relative cost. I use 70% of your pricing equating to my area in Australia. It has helped me quote closer to actual quantities used, which helps me be more competitive. Love your ideas of traveling to various places for classes. Great question and answer today. Well, we try. The question and answers, we try to provide as much information in kind of a lighthearted way as we can. So we have to get Jimmy back in these classes, Patrick.
Yes.
Any questions or comments before I move on?
Randy said she may have used the wrong tacks for one of the things.
Yeah, we covered that, and we determined that she had the right tacks, but you're right. Some of the tacks that you get in a hardware stores, Randy and Malcolm probably can attest to, are very thick shafts, thick shaft. And you'd be surprised what difference that makes in going to wood. Our upholstery tacks are very sleek and more pointed, and they go in better. So that I think we answered that, and that wasn't the tacks. So we came to the conclusion that it must have been the webbing itself. So what else does he say, Patrick? Is that it?
Yeah, he mentions the webbing tacks, using it with a barb on the end.
Yeah. I think she put. I recommend, depending on the furniture, that you put one of those tacks in each red area. One of the 14s, 12 or 14, as long as it has the bob in it. He's right, in the red area, and as long as the wood's able to take it. And some of these pieces, you get into where they can't even take heavy hammering. So a lot of times the staple gun's your best friend in this case if you have a pneumatic staple gun for the antiques, to save the antiques. I mean, hitting an antique, even if you have it situated well, sometimes can knock some of this, it's not a good thing. Any other questions or answers, Patrick?
Really?
Answers are supposed to come from me.
That's it for now.
All right. Now, I have to have an apology on Jean right now. I hope is she on, Patrick?
I forgot again. 2
What?
weeks ago, and then we didn't go on last week. She's probably waiting for 3 months for our question.
Wait a minute now. She should be watching now because we said to watch the show, right?
Hopefully, but she could rewatch.
I hope so because I dropped the ball on this for some reason. My Facebook wasn't working. I didn't answer and I forgot all about it. So hopefully she's watching. But let me show you what she has. Something very interesting. she says these are after pictures of the Caribou
Yeah, it's
Hi.
really cool.
Rocker. So she must be in parts north, right? I'm thinking north.
Up there in Canada.
Yeah. So let's see what she has to say. That's her project. She's used the videos to come up with the
She
rock.
has another one on there too.
Okay.
If you want to do that one first, then I'm not sure I put them together.
I don't think they're in order, Patrick. Hold on a second.
It's a different project, her other one, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's all right then.
Yeah.
So Jamie, is he new?
I don't think he's posted stuff before.
He says he's posted a few of his projects. Please, you guys, please post projects because they're very interesting. You can take a look at this. He's got before and afters. And he's even got his little pooch in there.
That one's cool.
So he's got two side Victorian chairs. Are they two or are they the same chair? Maybe they're the same chair. He's got side by side. So he's got before and afters of the two small Victorian parlor chairs, and then he's got this small little dog chaise lounge. It looks like a chaise lounge for dogs.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool.
Thank you, Jamie. Oh, and I wanted to mention I got a great phone call from somebody in Wyoming who bought the master class. By the way, if you're watching this first time, Randy and Malcolm know, but all the people who have watched, if you're watching for the first time, we have Upholstery on Broadway. We have a variety of learning techniques or learning tools for you. We have this YouTube channel. We have the question and answers where we answer those questions that you might have from the YouTube and also mainly from the online classes. We also have the online classes, which you can get Upholstery on Broadway. We have a store at Upholstery on Broadway. Right, Patrick?
Yeah.
We have the Facebook forum that people really, and this is what we're doing now, reading now from. So we have all these tools. So I heard from a very nice woman out in Wyoming, and she's going to be, her and her husband want to start up upholstery a shop, and she bought the master class. Right? What is that master class? How much is it, and what does it encompass?
It's $250, and it comes with all the old ones we've done and the new ones we're doing.
Every one that we've done.
Yep, the previous ones, and then up till the next two classes that we're doing.
I think it's great value. I give Jimmy a lot of credit. I might be the teacher, but he's the student who asks the right questions. You know what I like about Jimmy? He comes fresh. He came fresh every class. You guys will see it. He's got the temperament as to learn. I mean, he's got really good temperament. He comes to class fresh every time, right, Patrick?
Yep.
Even though he's a hard worker, he is a hard worker. He usually comes in after work. So check it out. Check it out on Upholstery on Broadway. So Nico has. She says, "Hi folks. Felt a little down after unsuccessful flip and kind of fell into a hole. Good news. I've been pushing myself to get back up, and things are coming along nicely." So what I'm seeing here, I think, is an ottoman, a very interesting fabric, guys. I think that's an ottoman with a loose cushion on top, and the cushion's beside it. Those semi-attached ottomans, as you know, you guys have done them. They're not easy to do. They're very difficult to square up. I've always had trouble with them anyhow. So sometimes I say to a customer, hey, wouldn't you rather have it loose and you can flip it over? If they don't have kids or dogs jumping up, that's a good idea. But the reason that they came out with the semi-attached cushion is just for that people didn't want it to be falling all over the place. But any questions, Patrick?
Nope.
So Tracy, she says, I just watched the live broadcast. Thank you so much for answering my question. This is what I started with on the 1860 English Victorian. I posted and emailed you about a few weeks ago. Yes, sir, I use red webbing, striped webbing. Oh, we just read this, but this is what she did, you guys. This is what she redid. We just read this about the tack issue, but I want to show you what she was working on. Look at this old red webbing. And they have it, if you notice the hand stitching of the springs, you could see that those twines are the bottom of the springs that were hand stitched instead of using a clinch-it. The clinch-it does help us a lot today. The clinch-it does really honestly, the clinch-it and with those clips does a better job at securing the springs. But the old way was to hand stitch them. So Leah has a good point here, Patrick. She says, having to sew miles and miles of welting for 6 couch cushions is about the part they don't warn you about. So, you got to love sewing to be able to sew, I'm telling you. We had a older woman who did our cushions, and we estimated how many miles of cushioning she did, and we estimated it was back and forth from the moon, Patrick. You were like at 400 or 500,000 miles. We didn't. I guess we didn't.
That sounds fun.
I guess it was a slow day. And Jean, here's Jean's other. I hope she's watching. We're giving Jean a lot of press. Jean says had asked for help on this antique rocker. I got emails saying our next live question and answer would answer my question. I listened, but you did not get to my question, but I figured it out. Thank you for being patient, Jean. 3 yards of practice fabric before I cut the hair on hide. Pictures show before and after. This is the rocking chair that I showed you, right, Patrick? This is the rocker, yeah. I got all new everything, even springs, as the bar springs were broken. The hide had very thick hair. I did use your tips on the cuts. 2 layers of 1-inch firm foam cotton filled cavities, 2 more layers of foam for seat in the back on the arms. My first and last caribou hide. So let me get the other picture first, and we can see it. She's done a lot of work on this rocker, you guys. It's an 8-way tie. Sounds like she didn't have coil springs, but she switched to coil springs, which is fantastic. And it looks like she refinished the wood. Total restoration, and then this is the result. Good job. Good job, Jean. All right. Let me see. What else do we have here, Patrick?
Randy wants to know, Kevin, do you still send your cushions out to somebody?
I did a cushion today, but yeah, most of them. But you got to keep going because you might get a little rusty. So once in a while, I'll do a cushion. But when I'm busy, it's not that busy right now. But there's a lot of pending jobs. But so I just picked it up and did it. But yeah, I'd say most of them. I wonder if Randy does his cushions. Diana says, this Danish modern chair showed up yesterday. It came with no cushions and no webbing. I am looking for an option on cushion height. I am thinking of 2-inch foam on both the back and the seat. What are your thoughts? The client said to do whatever I wanted. Okay, so I see she's got a seat of 13, 17, 16. This is interesting, you guys. This is, when you look at her yardstick, she's got it at 13 inches. So I think she could go to a 3-inch cushion would look better. 2-inch would look too shabby, too flimsy, I think. I think 3, and then she could go to a 2-inch cushion on the back, but I probably would do the 3-inch. Definitely on the seat. That will bring your seat height up to 16, which is almost normal. I mean, 17 is the normal height for any piece of furniture. It seems to work for almost any person, whether it have a cushion or an upholstered seat or a Danish chair with loose cushions. The back, though, it looks like a very dainty Danish chair. It's kind of hard to see, but she might want to go 2-inch on the back. Definitely box cushions with piping, though. I think definitely, though, Diana, 2 inches is aesthetically, I don't think it would look great. I don't think it would scale out right. But you guys can weigh in on that if you want. Julie from United Kingdom. Hi, from England. I found your YouTube video on the 1860 antique chair, which really helped me when I reupholstered this Victorian chair from the frame up. I'm completely self-trained, so thank you. I'm now hooked on Kevin's instruction and subscribed. Thank you, Julie. I'm on to this mid-century chair, which is in 4 pieces and bolts together. Unusual, though it might be German. Thought it might be German, possibly. Wondering if I should remove the old burlap. I'd rather just cover it over. There's foam in the seat, but I'd completely disintegrated with depth of foam, 1 inch, then cotton. Do you think I need the mid-century furniture needs to be streamlined, but also want it to be comfortable? Definitely replace the burlap. So you guys, you can see this when burlap gets like this brown, even though burlap is actually, Randy and Malcolm will know this, and all you seasoned upholsterers out there will know this. Burlap actually is a very important element on webbed seats or sprung seats, and so it's really the first material that covers up all of the holes. I mean, that's what it does. So when you have a piece of burlap like this that's definitely challenged, and you'd be surprised how that, no matter what you could put a 10-inch piece of foam on this, but it would come right up to the surface. And I've seen it, I've seen where people haven't changed out the burlap and it almost looks like a checkerboard after no time at all, because what's happened on the bottom part of the foam, it starts to go through where the burlap has failed, and it rises all the way up to the top. It's incredible how that happens. And then she's asking another question about foam. Foam, the determination of foam, we just answered the question about seat height. That's actually a good thing to go by. I would say your range is 15's on the low side, but on a chair like that, I say your range is 15 to 17 inches from the floor. So that's going to give you a good hint, no matter what type of seat you're putting in, an upholstered seat, or a loose cushion seat, or both. So that's always a good indicator. However, on some smaller pieces, you might want to go to the 15, and the bigger pieces the 17, and then in between there's an in between the 16. But it really does come down to those 3 inches, I think. I like Randy could weigh in on that too, what he thinks. But aesthetics are important, The French had a chair. Actually, this chair reminds me of it.
Okay, this first.
Yep.
Julie says I found 2 animal feed sacks inside the Victorian chair that we
Did she?
used to fix when it was upholstered and packed up inside in 1973. My client's mother-in-law. Didn't we have something similar to that?
I didn't hear what you said.
It wasn't a feed sack, wasn't it? Like a
no, that's that 1860 chair.
That's what it was. Right?
We very rarely get to identify location and manufacturer and put a story together. But
everything stamped and everything.
Patrick put together a little research and came up with the guy's picture too in that video.
That's a really common thing, to use those.
What?
It's a very common thing to use those.
Well, it's what we call farm finds. Farm furniture had a lot of that. The Midwest. Randy can tell you. I bet he finds more feed sacks in his furniture than we do around here. But we find enough of it, depending on the age, because we had farms around here. We have farms.
At one point, yeah.
But that was an unusual project because we did just a little amount of research, and Patrick came up with the name, the factory where it came from, the locale, which we would call that a cowboy chair or something, Patrick. Kansas City, Missouri. Yeah. We just kind of looked at the local history of that time to come up with, little fun facts and everything. It's a nice thing about furniture. Isn't it like a time capsule? We did the H.R. Haldeman. Nobody believes us, Patrick.
They don't really believe a lot of those.
Nobody believes it, but it's true. I wouldn't plant anything inside a chair and make fun or anything like that. But we did find on the H.R. Haldeman, on the arm, on a very crazy spot on top, a little piece of 8-track.
Yeah, right. I don't even.
He doesn't even believe me. I didn't put it there.
Piece of film.
Patrick, where am I going to get? No, it's a piece of recording. It's not film. It's a recording. You don't know the story. But
watch tape.
Michaela has done some beautiful art for us. By the way, Michaela she will never say it, and Patrick's shy, but I think she's an extraordinary artist. You guys should check her out. What's the name of her website, Patrick?
Yeah, Creature Nest.
Creature Nest.
And we have it all over the shop, too.
Check out her. She has things for sale on there, too, Patrick, or what?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, check out the website. But she's done these illustrations. I call them, Michaela, are they called industrial illustrations? That's what I call them.
No, just traditional.
Traditional. I don't know why I call them industrial, because when I compare them to your other artwork, they look industrial to me, Michaela. I don't know. It's just my name for them. But they're they're 6 featured past projects. One is the H.R. Haldeman. One is Johnny Cash sofa. One is Lady Di's club chair. All furnitures come through the shop. Yeah. One is the Napoleon's chair. One is what's the other one? Oh, Friend's sofa, right, Patrick?
Yeah.
And the Friend's sofa. Can you believe that, you
It
guys?
counts. You did a button.
I did. I know. I did more than that. You forget. That was broken. I don't usually do repair work or framework, but for this one here, it was kind of special. We couldn't pass it up. It had to be taken apart and then re-glued and everything because everybody was sitting on it, and a button popped. So we repaired it. And then what was the last one, Patrick? I lost.
don't know. We haven't really had one in a while.
Oh, the last one was John Belushi's sofa.
That was the last one?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we we always have to ask permission, so I can't mention this. The very famous historical figure that we may be doing work for, past, but everybody would recognize who this is. And we'll hopefully that will come to something. But anyhow. So, any more questions questions, Patrick, or comments?
Malcolm, I think you did this once before with one of them. He said, I stapled my business card and the date of my work inside everything I do. So does Randy.
That's a great idea.
I think you did that one time.
Yeah, for some reason the tradition in the shop that we were in, we just didn't do that. I remember one time, though, there was a prankster in the class in one of the shops. And he used to sign, like on the muslin on some of the older fake names, like I think he signed Abraham Lincoln. He used to try to tease the other.
The thing we found could have been a joke.
Which one?
The thing from Kansas.
No, I don't think so. No, we thoroughly researched that one. That wouldn't be a good thing to distort history. We'd never do that because I'm a little bit of an amateur historian.
Well, our proof for the latest videos we've made on them, so
yeah,
technically our business.
I think in that video, H.R. Haldeman, I turned to the camera and I said, "You guys aren't going to believe this."
Is that the one that had Jimmy peeking around the corner
with a flashlight? We have a little fun, but anyhow.
New show, Celebrity Seating.
Yeah.
I think we have enough examples for sure.
Let's get to Michaela now, Patrick.
Sounds good.
Michaela, do you want to read some of these emails that we got?
Let's see.
Let me just get my phone up.
Come on over, because I can't hear you all the way back there.
Didn't have any.
Well, we got a couple of estimates from the same customer, and it looks like something that I would do, which is like a separate email for each picture, right? Right, Michaela?
Yeah.
So it's something like I might do because I'm not that savvy. So you want to do the first one, that little wing chair? She's asking about slipcover. Do you want to read it?
Yeah, she just says, "Hi, how much would it cost to slipcover this chair? Thanks so much."
You could tell her on that one that we highly recommend that you upholster it. It's the same cost, $1,100. It's the same cost. Really discourage a slipcover on that because of the turn, the arms, they swoop over, and
You said 1,100.
yeah, and 6 yards of fabric. So. So sometimes she's got a picture of something, only a picture that she wants. Do you want to read that? The Relax the Back Lounger.
Yeah, well, that came in as a. She sent that separately, so
Right.
the estimate that comes along with it. She says, "Hi, I have a Relax the Black Lounger that needs a new cover. I will send you photos via email of the back and the front of the cushion to see if you'll be able to replace it."
Yeah, we're gonna stay away from that, guys. That is a highly manufactured piece of furniture that has special materials, including the fabric, but underneath it too, and they have stretch bars on it. They have special machinery that stretches it, and Malcolm or Andy, if you guys can do that, my kudos to you. if you have a way of doing that, but you know what I'm talking about, right? I don't think there's a piece of wood in this entire piece. No stapling, no pneumatic stapling gun, but it's all done. It's all done with specialized tools that I'll just stay away from that. You can just tell. I said this is something. What do we usually say is out of our wheelhouse, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's truthful. Sometimes the jobs that you don't get are the best jobs. I'm sure Randy and Malcolm and all you guys out there that have, even if you're just starting out, it's probably good for you to know your limits. And we have our limits. Even custom upholsterers have their limits. I mean, some of this stuff is just too manufactured. I mean, that office chair that I was talking about earlier was the beginning of the machine age furniture, and they used a lot of wood elements, like that arm had wood, and all the pieces that go on the metal frame are wooden. There's like an upper back, a lower back, two arms, and a seat, all wooden. So we can handle that, but other things, not so much. So what's the next one?
The next one is by the same person. It's the one that says upholstery in bold.
For the small chair?
Yeah.
That small side chair. That's nice. I mean, nobody would think about, she wants that upholstery, right? Yeah. So that's a $525 plus 3 yards of fabric. It's a nice little side chair, you guys. There's a lot. These were manufactured. There's a lot of these out there. But they're really nice. I wouldn't call it a Martha Washington chair. It's kind of like a modern day Martha Washington chair, I guess. Those arms are a little bit of a problem. Sometimes they break easily, so you got to be careful when you're lifting and picking these up. A lot of detail in that chair, though.
And then there's one more. If you scroll down to, it says Danny.
Danny, yep, okay. That just one chair? Do you think he only has one chair?
Yeah, so he says, we need a dining chair reupholstered. I've included a picture of the chair and a picture of a matching chair that was upholstered a few years ago. We would like to match that as closely as possible. We have more of the fabric used on that chair, so they want to use the same fabric that they have.
Looks like that they're doing some refinishing on it. I guess you could just tell them, $175. We usually like selling our own fabric, but I got a call the other day. Hi, I have my own foam and I have my own fabric. Can you do this for me? Foam and fabric. So the only thing they needed was the help with the labor.
And that's it.
And that's not good. Is that it, Michaela?
Yep.
All right, we're going to get Patrick back in here and talk about this idea that I have about...
idea.
Well,
Dangerous.
I was thinking that maybe what we can do, Patrick, this would cost a little money, but how hard would it be if you have 5 people, let's say, in a classroom, all set up in their own station? Why couldn't we have multiple cameras going? And
well, we tried that at the classes we did. I think before
well,
the pandemic,
no, we
right?
tried with a shoulder camera. That was hard. Remember over the other place? That was almost impossible. Mm. And the noise level was a problem too, wasn't it?
Yeah, too echoey.
Well, what if you had 5 cameras set up on each station? So my feeling is there's an amazing amount of footage that you're missing with these classes. Everybody has different projects. Everybody has a different speed, different attitudes. There's a lot of nice banter going back and forth, not only from me and my students, but from each other. That's kind of nice. I just think that you would get an incredible amount of footage because he's complaining that the channel is going down, which it is because we don't have time. But I was trying to combine these, things that we do. That's the idea.
Yeah, and Malcolm makes a good point. We have all the equipment to do that. We have a switchboard. We have three cameras.
Yeah.
But it's all here, so we have to move everything back to Arlington.
Yeah, but why? It might be worth it. Might be worth it, Patrick.
Unless we get another one.
So you would have to have how many different camera angles? If you had 5 people would be the limit, or maybe even 4, just to simplify it a little bit.
Yeah, 4 cameras.
You need 1 camera over the cutting table, right? You need 4 on each person's project. Just filming the project, not really the person.
You need a whole camera crew because then you would need somebody operating the big camera walking around
No.
that's attached to the other one.
I think it would be with the understanding. See, I don't know if if you're getting this. The understanding would be you're not going to get the camera angles like the online classes or even a regular YouTube video. But there's a lot of action going on. There's a lot of banter. There's a lot of information being given, and
yeah, you would need one camera always walking around. Then
But-
you would need the individual shots of each workspace.
But one of the problems is getting people to do this. Even you might have a problem one night. If you miss one night, it's over because these are ongoing classes
We
and
can't have any
projects.
blurred faces, right?
I'm thinking to come in and I switch the light on and everything goes on. All the cameras go on and we're ready to
Oh, I
film.
wish it was that easy.
It isn't that easy.
It takes me a little while to even set this up. You need the right software going and everything. So
See, you guys, I don't know what I'm doing. He's the one that, Patrick, I try to give Patrick credit where credit is due, but, these editing, I've watched the two of them, Michaela and her, with the editing these shows. They take a long time, right, Patrick?
well, something like that we'd be able to do. I'd have 4 cameras on, and then all I have to do is switch the shots, switch the camera angles as it's live. So that wouldn't be a problem.
Well, I think there'd be a lot
Wouldn't
of...
have to edit it. We could just do it like that. Unless you wanted to add music or something like that.
Well, how would you know? Like, the camera would have to follow me
just have it
around.
switch to whatever camera's most interesting at that moment. You know what I mean?
Oh, but you would have to be there, definitely.
Yeah.
You'd be in the
I mean,
back.
I could broadcast it from here or something. I don't know how we would do that besides YouTube.
That would be kind of cool. You should think about this because I think we would go in with the understanding that these are not going to be you're not going to pick up even on the YouTube videos. I say even the YouTube videos. That's how we started. But we did find that with me just explaining on the YouTube, unlike all the other people who do YouTube videos, it's very difficult to keep in mind that a lot of people who are watching this, they've never upholstered or they've never done CPR or they've never fixed a dishwasher, they've never worked on a car. You always have to keep that in mind, and it doesn't matter if you're talking to a Randy or a Malcolm too. They'll understand why you're talking in the way you are, but you'd be surprised how hard that is when you're teaching yourself on a YouTube video. That's why we went to the online classes. Jimmy keeps me in check. That's the nice thing about an apprentice, a beginner. Jimmy keeps me in check all the time. I'm not going too far ahead.
We have hours worth of video from that class that we did nothing with because, if someone's watching that, I was watching that and I was focused on one guy and I liked what he was doing. Then all of a sudden the camera goes away to the other person. Oh, I wanted to finish up with him.
But that's where the multiple cameras come in.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we only had one.
If you had
filmed at our place.
If you had a bench like this, and people are going to have to remember, they're not going to get every angle. It's only a top angle. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that'd be easy to do here.
Not with 4 people. I want it to be fast paced.
Malcolm makes a good point. He said that they have a competent crew and a big budget. It's easy to do live production.
It is a big budget. It is. He's right. He understands it. He must have done production. He must have done this or something, Patrick.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like he knows what he's talking.
Because I'm just talking. I don't know. You know more the logistics behind this. I can tell you this though. There's an 8-track tape of me out there somewhere, which Patrick wants to find. I think I destroyed it, but there's an old 8-track tape.
It's VHS tape.
WGBH Channel 2 came in a shop that I was working in many, many, many years ago. My brother-in-law, who was a great guy and a great mentor.
Wow. I'm sorry to interrupt that.
What?
Malcolm spent 30 years in film and video production.
Oh, really?
That's awesome.
So, Malcolm, I'm talking out of my hat or what? So just to give you an idea how difficult Malcolm it was 30 years ago. It was about 30 years ago that they came in.
Malcolm came and he was the one filming.
Well, I don't know. Has he ever worked for GBH? But they came in with 3 big cameras, 2 people with lighting, 2 people with the boom. I mean, they went all out. I mean, two of the sound guys, a director, an assistant director, and a hostess. and my brother-in-law, who was the more seasoned upholsterer at that time.
You're gonna be telling this on here.
That's okay. That's okay. He was going to do it, and for weeks and weeks and weeks. They had contacted us well ahead of time, and they gave you the production dates, and this is when they were going to come in, and this is a pilot. This was a pilot, right, Patrick? They called it a pilot, and it was a spin-off from this old house. It was going to be this old interior house or whatever the hell it was.
This old shop.
This old interior. No, not the shop. It was about interiors, and we were one of the segments, and the person, the hostess, it was her audition too, and so I'm sitting behind everybody watching. My brother-in-law's out there, and he called me over. It's 5 minutes, everybody take their place, right? And Timmy, you know what he says to me? He says, "You're going to do great." Said to me.
Left you hanging.
And I'm standing there, lights, camera, action, and there I am in the spotlight, you guys. And believe me, it was just in the beginning. I didn't even teach. I wasn't teaching or anything. I didn't know. I think I was like 3 years into it, maybe if that. But it didn't go so well. That's why I think the tape has been missing, Patrick. But anyhow, what else business do we have? So I just thought Malcolm is straightening me out a little bit, right, Patrick? It's not as easy, but I was wondering, what are they...
Let's focus on that traveling show first.
No, we could do this. I still think this would be good, and we can have Jimmy in the class as kind of like my sidekick. So like when I go, I will give him a couple of bucks, so that when I go, we have 2 rooms set up. So we have 3 people in each part of the room. So I'll say to him, when I leave, say something like, "Isn't Mr. Kennedy wonderful?" And then
Just throw him in there to make you look good.
Just to make me look good. Oh, I don't know. I
just want to realize I want to show these chairs before.
Oh yeah, these are going out, you guys.
People probably wondering what they are. There's 2 of them there.
These were down to the frame, and they were completely restored by a wonderful refinisher here in the New England area. And they had all new springs and horsehair, burlap. There was real traditional methods used, and they came out great. Real antique, really nice trim, and the embroidered back, really nice. I thought they came out great. And this is finishing up the job, by the way. So what else, Patrick? Why don't you think about that idea?
Yeah.
And maybe we can get people's feedback. Maybe Malcolm has an idea how that could be pulled off.
And in the meantime, I can edit Jimmy's wing chair class.
I mean, so what it would become more is just to kind of like, because we have a lot of people out there, Patrick, who are working by themselves and never worked in a larger shop. So maybe it will be from that angle, maybe from the social aspects of what an upholstery shop, the buzz of an upholstery shop.
Yeah.
So knowing that you're not going to get,
you're not going to call it that.
When I say buzz, many years ago, I used to like drinking beer.
We could
And every Thursday night, we used to have to get the jobs out, and we would partake in a couple of these beers at night. And
let's just put it this way: our shop could be on one of those old True TV shows, because if we could film every customer that came in, now that would be entertaining.
Oh, if we had that dog with the tail on camera, didn't we have that on camera? The dog with the tail.
Just the kind of stuff you see down there.
Jimmy thought it was, Jimmy thought a fan was out there banging on the door. I said, "Jimmy, one of your fans just want to come in." It was live or something, and I went over and lifted it up, and there was the dog.
It's just some of the strange requests we've gotten to us.
Oh, we've gotten some beauties.
If we could film everything, it would be. It's too bad you have to get permission.
It would be, yeah, it would be fun. Well, anyhow,
you lose a lot of business if people would get it recorded coming in.
Well, we like to have fun, and once in a while you come up with a little tidbit like this one, that this was really cool. So she was really excited. She did a dance, and she was shouting my name out, and everybody was wondering what happened. And she thought it was the best thing she'd ever seen. And it was kind of cool because it was stuck on there, and I just went like, beep, beep, and it came right off. It's cool. Anyhow.
There you go, Randy. Too much spray glue will get you a buzz. That happened to me in here. It wasn't spray glue. It was a spray glue remover.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff that takes it off. We were taking off those foam things we put up, and that was just, I couldn't stay in here.
You have to be careful of that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Sounds good.
so thanks, guys, and it was a fun question and answer, and we're gonna think about more ways to get more content on that YouTube video.
But in the
on that
meantime,
YouTube.
look out for that wing chair class. That'll be coming up by the end of May.
Oh, fantastic.
Sounds good.
Well, thanks
See you next
everybody.
week,
See you
guys.
next time.
Bye.